Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Secrets of a Witch podcast with me, Sabrina Scott, where I talk all about life, love, healing, spirituality, witchcraft, magic, transformation, healing, trauma, mindset, creativity, and everything in between. I hope everyone is doing amazing. And I just wanted to make sure I got this episode out so that y'all will have time to think about how you want to spend your time and energy, magical, mundane, or otherwise, during at least here in Toronto. Obviously, check your time zone. It's going to be different for everyone. I know there's folks all around the world from different time zones listening to this podcast. For me, it is going to be early morning this coming Saturday, and it will be a partial solar eclipse, new moon in Aries. And of course, it is Aries season, so we've got tons of Aries energy um, happening. And what else I want to say about this? Before I get into what's okay, what I want to do today is do a little reading for everybody on this energy. But before I do that, I'm shuffling right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It'll be interesting to see if that gets picked up on the audio. What I want to encourage everyone to do is look at what house in your astrological chart is ruled by Aries. What is going on for you specifically? For me, Aries is my eighth house, so it's going to be interesting for sure. I don't want to get super into it, but it's something to look into because part of the reason why so many of us are going to experience these eclipses so differently, some of us are going to have a great time, some of us are going to have a terrible time, some of us have been having a terrible time. Part of the reason for that is because this Aries energy is hitting everyone a bit differently in general, based on so many factors, but also based on your own personal chart. So I can't get into what that looks like for everyone here, but definitely something to look into. I'm sure many of you guys already are familiar with your chart. But before I pull any cards, one of the things I want to say is that this eclipse, this new moon in Aries, partial solar eclipse energy, it does feel to me like a breath of fresh air. It feels like a clarifying moment. It feels like the sun coming out from between the clouds on a really cloudy day when it's all gloomy, and then all of a sudden the clouds move and everything is sunny and beautiful and the sky is blue again as opposed to gray. That is what the energy feels like for me. Obviously, we just had the equinox, the spring equinox. And so, of course, with that, we are moving into the light solar part of the year. The days are getting longer. We are moving into spring. We're moving towards summer. So, and Aries, of course, is also the beginning of the astrological cycle. It's the astrological new year, at least in Western astrology. And so the energy right now really is very new beginnings, fresh starts. Let's leave the past in the past and move the fuck on. So if you guys felt like the first few months of this year were a bit like kind of wonky, maybe it didn't feel exactly like as much of a new beginning as you might have wanted it to. I've like maybe there was some kind of like unfinished business between January to now this year, maybe January 1st and the Lunar New Year in end of January. Maybe it's kind of felt a bit murky. Maybe there was just some loose ends that you weren't able to tie up at the end of December, and those loose ends have kind of crept into this year. What I would say about that is really make sure that by the solar eclipse on Saturday, or check your time zone, that a lot of that shit is done. I know that is the case for me. I definitely had some loose ends drag out into the beginning of February, into the middle of February. And I have to say, that shit is finally gone and out of my hair. And it really does feel a whole lot better. The energy for me personally feels a lot fresher now that stuff is gone. And so maybe for you, the new year, January 1st, 2025, didn't feel like a new year, didn't feel like a fresh start. Maybe the lunar new year, I think it was January 29th or something, didn't feel like a fresh start either. What I would say is right now is the moment. Astrologically, vibe-wise, it's like double Aries energy with that eclipse. And new moons really are fresh starts, new beginnings, and we've got the end of that eclipse cycle, if I recall correctly. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that's true. So we are finishing up the vibes that have been dragging on for the past little while, and this moment is really inviting us to rip off the band-aid if we haven't yet done so and see that the wound is probably actually healed. Maybe we need to put on another round of polysporin, put on a new band-aid to really commit to healing the last little leg of whatever it is. But the energy right now really is in support of our movement forward, our propulsion forward, and our growth. So I'm just shuffling as I'm speaking, and I do just want to pull a few cards for everyone to see how can we make the best use of this energy with this solar eclipse this weekend. What do we need to know to work with this energy? How can we work with this energy to improve our lives to the highest and best? Let's see what ooh. Okay. It's funny, like, 'cause you guys can't see what I'm pulling, but I'm reacting. I wanted to do this in real time rather than rather than pulling them and then recording. All right. Okay. And then one more. Okay, great. So I've pulled four cards here. The first card is the Fool. So the Fool upright, as y'all know, first card of the entire major arcana. The tarot is often called the Fool's Journey, especially the major arcana is thought to be called the Fool's Journey by many readers and many tarot people. And the Fool is really all about fresh starts, new beginnings, and crucially, looking at the situation that we're in, looking at the cycle, the season, the stage of life that we're in with fresh perspective, with excitement, and with an openness to experience. Some of us might be incredibly closed off and just not really like taking risks, not like trying new things. Maybe we've decided that a good, happy, healthy life, looking sexy, is for other people, not for us. This Fool card in this reading is telling you that that whole thing is total BS, and you need to throw that negative mindset and that pessimism and selling yourself short completely out the window. We're going to want to get rid of that. So embrace this Fool energy. It is the only major arcana in this reading. It is one of the two upright cards. And I love that it is the first card in this reading as well. So please take the Fool energy with you. If you remember one card from this reading day, I want it to be this. Be the Fool, be lighthearted, be childlike, be excitable, be full of wonder, ask questions and wonder what if, and ask why not? Why not me? Why can't I do that? Why shouldn't I do that? It's about expansion. The Fool's body language is incredibly open. The heart center is open. The shoulders are back. The head is looking up. Very open body language. How can you mirror that body language in your own life? How can you be this Fool vibe? Optimistic, open-hearted, curious, expansive. What is something you need to do right now to step into this new beginning that this moment offers you on a platter? The thing is, though, just because life and the universe and the spirits and the cosmos, etc., are offering us something on a platter does not mean that we automatically are just going to grab it. Many people reject the great vibe on the platter. I've seen it happen before. And to be honest, in my unhealed moments when I was much younger, I've totally rejected the great platter. We don't want to do that. We're grown, we're healing, we're in our villain era, our healing era, and we are embracing. Excuse me, guys. My God. We are embracing the next best season of us. We're embracing growth. We're embracing challenge. We're embracing confidence. And the fun thing about the Fool as well is the Fool has everything he needs in his backpack to begin on his new journey. So give yourself some credit. You've come a long way. You've come after a long journey of trials and tribulations, and you are ready to leave all of that crap behind and begin anew. So this is an invitation to really step into that energy if you so accept that challenge. Because growth isn't always easy, but it is always possible, and right now, especially. So the next card that we've got is the Seven of Wands reversed. The card after that we've got is the Seven of Cups reversed. So the Seven of Wands reversed. Don't allow all of the bad experiences that you've had in the past cause you to not see the opportunity in this moment. We're in a really important moment. It's a catalyst moment. We really need to seize this if we want to make the best of the next few years. So don't get so mired up and caught in small, nitpicky, like mundane crap that you're not going to care about 5 years from now anyway. Like, let that be the small potatoes, like insignificant stuff that it is. Don't let it bother you. Don't let it suck your energy from you. You deserve more than that. Just let that stuff go and choose not to engage in some fights and battles and whatever that you might have gladly engaged in previously. We're going to say no to drama. We're going to say no to internet arguments. We're saying no to those stupid discussions with people that never go anywhere. We are going to choose different ways of spending our energy. Seven of Cups reversed. We are going to actually see that there's so many options available to us. Right now, there's a lot of options available to you, to us all right now, but many of us are choosing to put our head in the sand to not actually see the potential that we are currently living within. And so once this clarity comes with this eclipse this weekend, once the sun, the moon, everything is visible when the clouds go away and it's a clear sky. All of these seven cups, our options, are going to be visible to us, even if right now maybe it's around us, but we can't really see it. So I want y'all to pay a lot of attention to this over the next week. New opportunities for growth, different possibilities. Really don't sell yourself short. And my homework for y'all is to come up with 7 different paths that you could take. And the last but not the least, Three of Cups upright. It is a time where many of us are going to be connecting with new groups of people, new communities, groups of people who we really do feel aligned with. At the same time, make sure that this is a complicated thing. How do I want to phrase this? We don't want to be in an echo chamber, but we do want to be around people who are growth oriented, curious, have integrity, have our best interests at heart, are supportive, etc., etc., etc. That is what kinship really is about. The author Kurt Vonnegut has this interesting term that comes up for me when I'm thinking about this, and it's the term granfalloon. And he would describe a granfalloon as this shared identity, but it doesn't really mean anything. But people are under the false impression that it does. So a granfalloon would be people with tattoos. Just because I have a ton of tattoos doesn't actually mean I have anything in common with anyone else who has tattoos. And I think we can extrapolate many other granfalloons that we've seen people take too much stock in lately, depending on where you live. I'm not going to get into all the specifics of what that might be, but I think we all know. What the Three of Cups is not about granfalloons. The Three of Cups is a card about community, friendship, togetherness, joy, the joy of socializing. And it is not about the falseness of the granfalloon. As Grand Falloon is not a real community, right? It's not real kinship. It's a false kinship based on like superficial bullshit, basically. And as we are in this moment, we are being called to really rethink and reconfigure, like as we are moving towards this new version of self, this expanded self, this new journey. Who do we really want to be? Who are we really? Who do we feel the best around? And what type of people do we want to hang out with? Maybe what our Grand Falloon way of organizing ourselves was in the past, maybe we're beginning to reconsider that. And maybe instead of, to use this example, deciding that we only want to be friends with tattooed people, just like us, that we are going to expand and change our idea of, okay, who might be a good community member? Who might be a good friend? Who might be a good, like, group to get involved with? And that is what I want to leave you guys with this eclipse. A lot of us are going to be shifting communities, shifting the groups that we identify with. We're going to be shifting our ideas about what group identification even means. Super important stuff, super interesting. So I want to leave you guys with that. I don't want to get too crazy. If you feel called to do magic on this eclipse, I would say go for it. If you feel too tired to do anything, that's cool. At the very least, I would say write an intention, one sentence in your like phone notes app or something, or if you've got a magical notebook or just a diary, write one sentence in there. What is your intention? It doesn't have to be crazy. And if your intention is to get more clarity, that totally works. If your intention is to meet yourself more fully, that works. If your intention is to reconsider what community means to you and what group belonging means to you, then go for it. And an intention can be a question. It doesn't have to be a solution. It doesn't have to be a foregone conclusion. It can also be an opening. Right, y'all. I'm gonna leave you there. Happy eclipse. Happy eclipse. I think it's going to be visible for some of y'all. It's not going to be visible in Toronto, unfortunately. I think if you're in Ottawa and Montreal, it will be, and I'm sure other parts of the country as well. So do look it up if anyone wants to. Go check it out. I do have some room for tarot clients and coaching clients. If you're interested in either, you can send me an email at ceo@sabrinamscott.com. Check out my website, sabrinamscott.com. My Instagram is Sabrina M. Scott. My YouTube is Sabrina Scott. And just like reach out to me whatever way you feel called to do so. I would love to discuss what you're going through right now and how I might be able to be of service to help support and guide you through whatever transformation is happening for you at this point in time. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy eclipse.